Let's review a hoop shoe that 99% of hoopers have never heard of, and the Eqlz 360s. First off, let's talk traction. These babies feature what Eqlz calls a parametric sand grain pattern. Obviously insanely unique, and it's a traction pattern I've never seen on a hoop shoe. Apparently this pattern was made up from an algorithm that analyzed over 2.1 million pieces of data to ensure proper grip, flexibility, and durability. I don't know what that means, but I'll take it. The materials that make up this funky pattern is an insanely durable rubber compound that was engineered to be durable and grippy through an array of surfaces. And I actually forgot to take the sticker off of this one, but just to prove it to y'all, I have actually used these shoes. I've just been using the white pair. This pair came in. But enough talking about the compounds and algorithmic patterns. Let me show you a traction test, and then let's talk about how they performed. The traction on the Eqlz 360s performed at a high level. These babies provided some reliable grip that supported the fast-paced, shifty movements that stashed hooper requires. Thanks to that funky traction pattern that used 2.1 million data points and that durable rubber, it provides a really nice bite, and these babies probably will last an insanely long time. So overall, I think this traction setup is pretty stacked. I think it's pretty much perfect for outdoor use, would last a long time. Great for indoor use too. And that paired with the amazing performance, I will give these babies an easy 8.9 out of 10 in the traction department. Now let's talk about the cushion. The cushion setup on the 360s is a combo of what they call P-Bax pods and an EVA midsole. There are two supercritical P-Bax foam pods, one in the forefoot and one in the heel area. This placement offers responsive energy return and impact protection precisely where it's most needed. This enhances those quick cuts and explosive movements. And that EVA midsole encapsulates those pods, providing a cushy outer layer. This cushion setup feels low to the ground, responsive, cushy, and overall felt nice on feet. I think this cushion setup does really well at having an adequate amount of bounce and cushion without feeling like they're doing too much. I feel like some shoes, when they really stack on the cushion, you feel too high off the ground. I feel like I'm wearing high heels or like I'm gonna roll my ankle, but these babies do a great job at having enough cushion and not doing too much. I'd say prime time for most guards, maybe even some small forwards and forwards, maybe not a center. If you're a hefty dude, maybe not, but for most people, I think this cushion setup is stacked, especially for 130 bucks. So I think you get a lot of bang for your buck in the cushion department. Easy 9 out of 10 in the cushion department. So let's move on to the support. Like literally every single shoe nowadays, the Eqlz 360s feature a plethora of lockdown and support technology. So let me walk you through every little piece of technology that helps the support and lockdown. And then at the end of this section, I'll talk about how it felt. First, we have the 360-degree full grain leather wrap. This leather overlay wraps entirely around the shoe, providing structured containment and helping lock your foot in place during aggressive cuts and lateral movements. Whether that be playing defense or the shifty crossovers of that lateral movement, these babies provide enough support. Additionally, they have integrated support straps. Hidden within the design are interior straps that anchor the foot for added lockdown. This especially helps during sudden starts and stops. On top of this, they have sculpted midsole geometry. That EVA midsole that I mentioned earlier is shaped to cradle the foot, improving stability whilst also allowing natural movement. This sculpted design essentially helps big time in the ankle roll prevention department. On top of this, they feature an outsole wrap-up design. The rubber outsole wraps up on the forefoot on its sides, adding extra grip and lateral coverage. Really helpful for those quick movements. And the last thing I'll mention in this section is the Ghost Knit Upper. While this is primarily a comfort and fit feature, this one-piece knit upper also contributes to support by forming tightly around your foot and keeping it secure. And like every other hoop shoe, it features a heel count. So with all that technology, man, I would say that the support is the highlight of this shoe. These babies will offer you a secure and supportive ride, which is something I've heard before. They'll offer you a secure and supportive ride without doing too much. If you're a shifty player or you play some really hard defense and you really put stress on the lateral movements, I think you will especially appreciate this shoe. But even if you're not one of those two, you'll still appreciate that support. So like I said, probably the highlight of the shoe, some of the best support technology and fun support technology I've seen on a basketball shoe. So easy 9.4 out of 10. Now let's move on to materials. Like I mentioned earlier, that outsole is made up of that extremely durable rubber compound. Perfect for outdoor use and also really good for indoor use. But we already talked about that, so let's move on to the upper. That sock-like upper that you see is what they call the Ghost Knit upper. It's a one-piece breathable knit material that conforms to your foot, offering a lightweight, flexible, and ventilated feel. Additionally, these babies feature those leather overlays that I mentioned earlier. Like I said, it adds some support, durability, and it looks insanely unique. And the leather material that's used on these babies feels insanely high quality. So overall, man, the materials do a very good job at having a balance of quality and performance. I absolutely love this lightweight sock design that makes you feel really, really secure, alongside those beautiful overlays. Like I said, feels super high quality. And overall, the shoe feels like insanely premium for only, what I'd say, 130 bucks. With all the leather overlays and the lightweight knit, I would have expected this to be more of like a $160, $170 shoe. Obviously, if I didn't know the price, but for 130, you're getting crazy bang for your buck in the materials department. Easy 9 out of 10 in the materials. And before we conclude the review, I'd like to quickly mention the fit, the weight, and the sneaker comparisons. Firstly, I'll say these babies fit 100% true to size. I wear an 11 in pretty much all my basketball shoes, and an 11 fits absolutely perfect. In regards to weight, I would say these babies are rather average. Definitely not a heavy hoop shoe, but definitely not insanely lightweight. But while it didn't feel heavy, I want to clarify that, it didn't feel heavy. I will say at times they just felt a little like bulky. I don't know what that is. I think it might be just these leather overlays. Like, it looked big on my feet, but it didn't feel big. Pause. But yeah, slightly bulky. And in regards to sneaker comparisons, I'd say the closest to this shoe is probably like a Harden 7 or a Harden 8. Has that slight chunky feeling, but still one of the best performers on the market. So without further ado, man, let's finish this review off. The Eqlz 360s are an absolute banger of a hoop shoe for only 130 bucks. It offers some excellent traction, insane support, funky ass looks, and overall premium materials. If you're a shifty guard especially, but a guard, even a forward looking for a great budget hoop shoe, I'd say this is probably one of your best options. But if you're looking especially for a funky looking hoop shoe that none of your friends will have too, this is definitely your best option. But overall, I give these babies an 8.9 out of 10. Easily one of the best hoop shoes at 130 bucks. If you want these babies, I'll have a link in the description for the best place to get them. And if you're interested in watching more Stashed Hooper, please check maybe that video out. I think you'd like that video out. I think you should check that video out.